It's Stephanie Kennedy here from Lazy Parenting, and I'm coming on live today with you to share a tip today. And I wanted to first share a little bit of background, but I'm going to wait a little bit and see if anybody jumps on with us today. I literally can't see you if I don't have my glasses on. I'm getting old. So, I don't know, I'll put them on and I'll probably take them off. But today I wanted to come to you from my kitchen to share something that took me 17 years, 17 years of parenting to figure out, and to, it's actually been a seemingly small thing that we've done in the house that has made a huge impact. I was talking to someone this week about productivity and about how I can better use my time, and I struggle a lot with having a calendar and tasking things out and sticking to that calendar. And I was really trying to figure out, what is it about using a calendar and sticking to it? And I mean, this isn't for my life, this is for work. Like, what is it about putting things on a calendar and sticking to it, whether it's a task list or something like that? And what would be best way to make me feel like I was being productive? And I've struggled with that over the last couple of years. I haven't figured out a system. And I know what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to block time, and I know I'm supposed to put things into that. And I realized that if I look at the way I run the family, and so we have 4 kids, all 4 of our kids are super involved in multiple sports, and they have been from a young age. And so how did we manage to get all of those kids to all of their sports at all different times and all different locations? I mean, we have help, of course, but how do we even just manage it? And I realized that, so what I used to do is I used to buy one of those big calendars from Costco. They sell them, the Mummies calendars with the big squares where you can write in. And what I used to do up until this year, this is a new thing, that new hack that we've learned that saves me a ton of stress, is I used to, in each of those squares, I get the new one. It starts in September, right? Those ones that you buy at Costco. They start in September, so like the first week of September or the end of August, I would sit down with that calendar, and I would sit down with like the school calendar and all of the emails that I would get about when practices are and all of that, and I would write them in all the little squares, and I would repeat them. So like cheer practice every Tuesday from this time to this time, and I would write it from like September to December. I'd put in all their soccer practices. I would put in their basketball practices. I would put all the pro D days on there. I would do this. And as soon as I sat down to start doing this, I would start to feel overwhelmed. It caused me great anxiety and great stress. I need to be able to see what's going on. It caused me great stress. Like, I could feel my heart beating faster. I could feel myself start to sweat. I could feel just the overwhelm that set down on me. And so I would be okay. Like, I could get like September to December, but it was really hard on me. And then thinking about the week became really stressful about who added stuff on. And the problem with the paper calendar, and it used to be on the wall here in the kitchen, was that my husband would write on the calendar, but I almost never looked at the calendar because it's at home and I work every day. I go into the office every day, and I wouldn't see it. And then I wouldn't really know what was going on that day in regards to like who had soccer or who had basketball, unless I took a picture of it every day, and that didn't really work very well for me. So this year, my husband, smart guy that he is, had a brilliant idea. It started last year. He and I decided to share my Gmail calendar with him. So my Google Calendar, I shared with him. And so he was able to alleviate some of that pressure off of me by adding things to that calendar. And so that Google Calendar became our family calendar. So I didn't stress out about not knowing what was on the calendar at home because it was always in my Google Calendar. When he updated, so if he knew, like, we kind of split sports. So if I'm doing cheer and he's doing basketball, he will add the basketball practices into the Google Calendar, and they would just show up. So I would know that that was what was coming up. If he was going away on a trip, he could add it to the Google Calendar, and I would get a notification that the calendar was updated, and I would know about it. So, and same with me, if I added something onto the calendar, he would know about it. And it literally was one of the best decisions we've made. It took us 17 years to figure this out, but uber drive, the superpower that we did to this was we bought something and we added it to our kitchen. So I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you. It's one of these little dudes. And so what this is if I press the home button, this is just an Amazon Fire. It's not very big. You can see my hand fits over top of it. All those things are coming up, all those sales that there are going on shortly. You can buy these. They're super cheap. It's not an iPad. It's a cheap version of an iPad. And what you can do is that's the wrong one. You can link it to your Google Calendar. And I probably screwed this up by going out of it. This has now become our Google Calendar. And so where we used to have, this is just a school calendar, but where we used to have our big calendar, we've attached this to it. I just messed it up because that's not my Google Calendar. So my kids are going to go, oh, Mom, you're not very smart. You're not figuring it out. Google. There it is. Okay, Google. So you can see that we have our Google Calendar, and this is on all the time. It's plugged in just to the plug all the time, and it's on the wall. And what's really neat is you can buy these little plastic hooks. So I put one on the back. There, you can see it's an Amazon Fire. I put it on the back, and then we hook it. I probably have to do this a bit more carefully, but we hook it onto the wall. And so there it sits on the wall, and it's on all the time. And now what we've done is we've shared it with the kids. So I have 2 teenagers. They all have actually 3 of my 4 kids all have an email account. The 4th one is asking, so we'll probably get her one soon. That's another tip for another day. That's how to teach your kids to get control of their own schedules, because ultimately they have to be responsible, especially if you have a large family. You can't be expected to keep them all, nor should you be the one to keep them all organized. So they all have a Gmail account, which means I've shared my calendar with all of them. So now they have access to my Google Calendar, and they can see each other's schedules and help with the planning of things. And so my teenager adds her field hockey practices or games because I don't know when they are, and they add their basketball practices. So it really has been a game changer, and it seems like such a small thing, but it's huge because it has allowed me not to have to worry about it. I don't add any of those things. They all each add their own activities to the calendar, and then I can look at it and see what might be needed for regards to rides and things like that. So I highly recommend it. That's going to be my tip for the day, and that's why I wanted to come on live and talk about it. So again, it's like a little Amazon Fire that I link to my calendar. Everybody in the family has access to my Google Calendar. I'm trying to figure out how to have a calendar separate from that for my work, because I have to get that piece a little bit. But this one piece for the family and organizing the 6 of us has been a life changer. And I highly, highly recommend that you do something like that. Then I think any kid that's grade 5 or above can have a Gmail account. You can set it up for them. You can have access to their password. But really, then what we did is we added them to all the Team Snap emails, or all of the emails that would be coming from their sports. It's really just sports. They're not allowed to opt into emails online or anything like that. It's just really emails that we've opted them into for school sports or community sports, so that they get their schedules, they get alerts, they know if practice has been canceled, and that they're responsible for their own schedules. So that's my tip of the day. So a huge, life-changing for me, this idea of having a calendar that I'm not in charge of anymore. Everybody takes care of it, and I just get to see it all the time. So I hope that is helpful to you all. And leave a comment or give me a heart, or you can leave a comment even after the video is over, and then I know that you saw it, and I know if you thought that this tip of the day was helpful to you. Okay, that's it. Okay, bye.